This your boy Dre.
And this your boy David.
And welcome to the Perspective Podcast. We are here on episode 4. What a great day it is today.
Yep, Dre. So
speak up, David.
My bad. Well, let's tell the audience about what we're doing today.
Yeah, so today we're definitely going to get into it, but before we do anything, let's shout out the team. We have Eli, our producer and director. We got Ty, our sound engineer, and then we have Shannon, our editor-in-chief. That just so happens to be our guest today. You know, welcome Shannon. Welcome to this side of the camera. You know, great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so today we're talking about a subject that's kind of near and dear to our hearts. We're talking about historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs.
The illustrious University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Also
known as Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, and then the rest. So what we're going to talk about today is, what are these HBCUs? Why do we have HBCUs? What are our experiences in these HBCUs? And kind of what's the future hold? Is it something that we need to continue to have, or do we need to look elsewhere? And we're very, very excited to have Shannon here with us. Shannon, tell us why we're picking you today.
Yes, so I am Shannon. Excuse me. So currently I am a PhD student at Washington University in St. Louis and majoring in biomedical engineering. But previous to all this, I went to 2 illustrious historically black colleges and universities.
One more time. Illustrious.
I
think that's how we all introduce our HBCUs.
If you don't introduce it like that, you ain't go to one.
Right. I went to the illustrious University of
if you ain't got some type of adjective, it got to be some type of. I went to fabulous. I went to illustrious.
The illustrious.
I went to amazing. I went somewhere other than, or you gonna get this adjective. Absolutely.
So I went to the illustrious Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana, as well as the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Wait. So you went to 2 HBCUs. So why? You couldn't make up your mind?
Mm-hmm. She couldn't make it at one, so she had to transfer.
Wow, the disrespect here. No. So I was in a 3-2 program, which was so at Xavier. And
very smart.
Yes. And so what the program was that you did 3 years at Xavier, which I got my bachelor's in science, in biology, and then I also went to North Carolina A&T, where I got my bachelor's in science of bioengineering.
So you hold 2 degrees already?
2 degrees, and I'm only 23, so I'm the youngest in this room, as well as the only woman in this team.
Okay. So
shout them out.
Y'all ready to get into this?
Oh, we here.
Yes.
Let's do it. So I think the question becomes, why go to an HBCU? And instead of giving everyone like all of that information, I want to turn the camera on us. Why did we decide to go to an HBCU?
Let's start with Shannon.
So, why did I go to HBCU? I went to HBCU many different reasons, honestly. I actually met my advisor at their open house. And at the time, I wasn't really for HBCUs. I was going to stay closer to home. And so what I did was started talking to him, and an opportunity came about for me to go and do lab work for him coming straight out of out of high school, And so for me, I saw that as an opportunity and a gateway to the more opportunities to come by going to an HBCU. I knew that going to an HBCU would allow me to have a community different from going to a PWI, and I just took the opportunity and ran with it.
Okay. So David, why did you go to an HBCU?
So mine is a little bit different. Growing up in the Midwest, I just knew I was going to go to Mizzou or WashU or KU. And I remember my dad ended up applying to Florida A&M. Did not tell me. So I'm waiting on all the different letters from different universities. And I remember I got a letter from Florida A&M. And it said, hey, congratulations, you've been accepted into FAMU, and here's your full scholarship from NASA. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got a full scholarship to a FAMU. What's that? Where's that? What is this? I knew nothing about the school. But I started to research it, and the more and more I was like looking at it, I was like, okay, so they're going to pay me to go to Florida and get a degree? Okay, yeah, where do I sign up? And the rest is history. I'll get into more later, but it was really on a whim. I can't say that I grew up with FAMU on my mind like a lot of people did, but it was something that, it was different. It wasn't Missouri. Sign me up.
Where the heat was at.
Exactly.
You got tired of being cold. That's what it sounded like.
Yes.
Understood.
What about you, Dre?
So I went to the illustrious University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Very small HBCU on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Just an hour outside of Ocean City, if anybody has heard of it. But the reason why I went to one is because I always knew I was going to go to an HBCU. My sister went to Howard University. My mom also went to a HBCU, the University of District of Columbia. It may not sound like a HBCU, but it's one of the only HBCUs in DC. Very small public school in the city. So I remember applying for the scholarship that I received. It's called DC Achievers, and we had to do a 3-week program at UMES. So when I got there, very raw, very different, and it was like a new ball game. So when I got there, I was just like, oh, okay, I need to be here. The football coach came and talked to me. You come here, you can play ball, you don't have to worry about anything. Then I had a full ride. I was just like, this is where I need to be. I got there. I love being away from home. I'm not too far away from home, but it was a chance for me to slow my life down. You know, growing up in the city, sometimes you do need that change of pace. So when I got there, I was just like, this is home. So I got there, and to this day, I still have my favorite picture. It was on the campus in front of the SSC, which stands for the Student Services Center. And then once I took that picture and I went back and I looked at it, I said, I'm going here. You know, so all of us who applied, who was in the program, we all made a pact that we all was going to apply and go there. But, you know, everybody changes their mind. Some went to FAM, some went to A&T, some went to Howard, some went, you know, as far as California. But I stuck with my pact, and I went to UMES, and I got a chance to play collegiate football. Yeah.
So my biggest thing is, we've talked about where we went, kind of why we went. Now the question is, what was our experience? Like, what was your experience there? Why did we talk about this?
It's on you.
That's for all of us. But
Yeah.
Shannon, why don't you tell us what, your experience?
Where do we want to start?
With your experience.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Like you do this.
Start there.
So, going to 2 different HBCUs.
Keep going.
Going to 2 different HBCUs, 2 different types of HBCUs. There's 2 different, distinctly different experiences. And so, going to Xavier was a smaller HBCU in New Orleans, but a little bit on the outskirts, not deep in the city. And everybody knew everybody. So for me, it was like a big family, but in a sense of high school at the same time, because it was like, it was smaller actually than my high school. Got to know a lot of people, got to experience a lot of different things. And then...
Are you nervous on this side of the camera?
No.
Come on.
Figure out what's going on.
What's going on, Shannon?
Yeah, what's going on?
There is so much.
We are on
There is so
podcast.
much going
What are you
on.
doing?
currently.
Like, come on, you gotta keep it rolling, keep it going.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry. So in terms of my HBCU experience, so I got involved. I was a part of the National Society of Black Engineers. I did research. I did a lot. Knew a lot of different people, which put me in spaces where I was able to travel, go to different conferences, just a lot of things like that. And then...
I thought it was a fly. I really thought it was a fly. You gotta keep it going. See, we done lost her.
Wait, no. I'm still on.
Come on.
So, but then in terms of my A&T experience, so after I left Xavier, I transferred to North Carolina A&T, which was closer to home. I think that was a better experience for me. Sometimes you get homesick. I'm able to drive home, things like that. But for A&T, it was a bigger school, so I experienced a different homecoming. Something we can talk about.
What's the homecoming called?
Homecoming is called GHO, the greatest homecoming on earth, and we will not
Hey man, everybody got their own thing. Everybody got their thing. You know, you gotta let them have it.
People come from all over to come back to our homecoming.
Everybody got their thing.
Quote unquote.
You know, everybody got their thing. You gotta let them have it.
It's G-Ho.
It's short.
It's G-Ho.
That's it.
So
That's great.
So, but then being at A&T, I was able to see a different experience of the HBCU just because I didn't know as many people. I was a transfer student. It was hard at first, but for me, I was able to immerse myself into A&T a little different than I did at Xavier, but allow myself to actually like get to know people, get to know my professors, and that's actually how I led myself out here.
Gotcha. So David, seeing as though you went to school way back in the day.
Sure did. The best time to go.
Back when, you know, TVs was black and white.
That's perfect.
So you gotta let them know, how was your experience?
So I won't go into that.
Why
instead,
not? That's your question.
But no, instead,
here we go.
I was going to say, instead, let's just talk about HBCU experiences altogether.
Okay.
Because I think all of us will have similar experiences, but let's talk to the audience about, you know, why do we keep talking about HBCUs? So let's talk about those homecomings, the marching band. Let's talk about our sports teams, Greek life, school spirit, the classics, you know, all of that different stuff.
Gotcha.
I would say I went into college thinking it's going to be college, right? So I'm going to go to class, get my degree, and go home.
Right.
And I was really shocked and surprised at how much I was immersed into the culture of the HBCU I went to, Florida A&M. Mm-hmm. I tell people to this day, I bleed orange and grain.
You what?
I bleed.
What is that?
That's right. That's what we say. I bleed orange and grain. Orange and grain.
Hey, man.
That's what our colors are, orange and grain.
Orange?
So if you think about it, think about a lot of your friends who did not attend an HBCU.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And how often do they talk about their experience at college outside of homecoming, right?
Right.
They may talk about, I go back to my homecoming. But it's like, it's really, I developed a love for the university. And it was based off little things.
Spirit.
Yeah, it was based off the interactions I had with my professors. It was based off of knowing that if I wanted to get from my dorm room to the cafeteria, I had to walk up this hill. Florida A&M is located on the highest of 7 hills in Tallahassee. So when you walking on hills, you walking on hills. But you knew if you hungry, you need to go there.
Right.
So you worked up another appetite.
Right.
And how about this? Because we all had it, and we talk about it. The standing in line experience.
Oh, no, I didn't stand in line.
Okay.
I didn't have
You was privileged.
Hey.
Was he not?
So,
Privileged.
Okay, so he doesn't know about the true HBCU life, clearly. He had to.
You stand in line for everything and anything.
So, the HBCU experience that I had was a little bit different because I had the opportunity to actually play collegiate football and I was a collegiate athlete. And I'm going to get into why, my HBCU experience was unique versus when I attended a PWI as well, because I wanted to take the state for graduate school. But my HBCU experience, it was fun. When I literally say I came to campus, I had the little man syndrome. I wanted, be big dog on campus. I only stand 5'7", 135 pounds at the time. Right now I'm at 160, big dog on campus, So when I got there, I really thought I was the man. Like I came in, like chest poked up high, you feel me? Came off a high school championship. Y'all want me? Why do I need to be here? Give me the ball. We going to championships. So I got real humbled really quick. I never forget it. So we played Wesley College as a scrimmage, and when I say I never been hit so hard, that to the point where they knocked off my shoulder pads loose. Yeah, it was one of those. And we lost 72-0.
Oh.
That scrimmage won. So we scrimmaged again, and then we lost 99-0. So it was bad, but it was fun. I went
being nice,
Didn't go out the way. Hey, coach, can I do it again? Nah, go hit the shower. Did y'all even have showers to hit at UAM?
So after all of that, it was like our coaches, like they were still stuck in their golden years of running the wing tee. Nobody runs the wing tee no more.
Hey, Dre, you're getting real deep in football talking.
I know. I'm about to get into it. Give me a second. So that's how we lost it.
What is a wing tee, honestly?
It's an option. It's an option formation of offense in football. But back to my HBCU experience, it was really fun. I got a chance to play ball. I got a chance to be really involved. But I also developed that school spirit. If you ever get a chance, you'll know if somebody went to a HBCU because they, like David said, they bleed them colors, like die hard, everything.
Why do you think that? Really, like, why do you think we go so hard for our HBCUs?
I think it's just like a home away from home. You get what I'm saying? Because when you get to your HBCU campus versus a PWI, the air is different. That's what I tell everybody. The air is different. And what I mean by that, it's just a different feel.
I think it's the history that the school was built on, and you know, like, all that it went through. And I think that's what, like, you allow yourself to have so much more pride in where you went because you know all of the history behind it.
So I agree with you. It's something it's built and put into you, right?
It's that college one-on-one class.
It's
Yes,
really
that
from your.
freshman seminar.
I literally was gonna say it's from your freshman year on. They really let you know, like, oh no, you're on insert university's campus here now. So leave all that stuff that you did at home. You're here now. You need to respect this. Don't walk over there. Don't go over
walk
there.
in the
Don't
grass.
say this.
Don't
We
walk
don't
in the
cut
grass.
corners.
Yeah,
don't
we do
walk
not
in the
take
grass.
shortcuts. Did you guys have to learn the HBCU intro?
No.
Oh, y'all didn't have an introduction?
Oh yeah. Are you talking about our own university intro?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
How
You
did
Nah,
share
you-
them
yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
My intro. Hello, my name is David L. Robinson, hailing from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a chemical engineer.
Oh yeah. That intro, absolutely.
You don't just go by, hey, my name David. No. If you didn't start off with that, and if you didn't use words like matriculate, hello, they don't know you.
Exactly. So
Where
yeah.
did you go to school at?
To Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, the
Yeah,
highest
so-
of 7 hills. There you go. You have to let them know.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely did learn that intro, that quick elevator speech where you walk up, you shake hands, you look them in the eye. I think an HBCU teaches you a lot of the soft skills. A lot of people say that college is really everything that you learn outside of the classroom is what you remember, but that's what a HBCU teaches you. Like honestly, like the classes are great, the education is perfect. I will not change my education for the world, but I think my biggest experience and the biggest fun, or the most things that I remember, is the fun that I had walking to the classrooms. When you walk past the computer lab, or you walk past the cafeteria, and you see your boys, and you
People
just
all
and
out
you
there.
just like you debating, scratching your head like David B with the hookah. Do I want to go to class? Do I want to take this test? Nah, I ain't gonna take this test, so I'm gonna miss this class. You know, so those type of things. But you
So
know,
clearly,
Drinking a lot
I
of
was
scary
right.
class.
I was on an academic scholarship, so I had to go to class.
but you was late for a couple of them.
Never.
Oh yeah, see,
Just-
David was by the books. Come on,
Right.
you gotta get to it.
yeah.
Now those humanitarian classes, nobody care about, right?
Oh, okay.
Right.
But it was also like you understand like what fashion is.
Oh,
It's nothing like being on the HBCU campus because every day is a fashion show.
so tell you about that. My freshman year, I remember one day I was late for class, so I just woke up.
I thought you just said you was never late for class.
I didn't say
Academic
that.
scholarship.
Okay, here we go. But okay,
You see
got
how I catch
it.
him?
You did.
Time fact check.
Right. I was running late for class. That means the class hadn't started yet. But I was like, hey, I see my friends do it at their university, so let me just keep on my pajama bottoms and throw on some shoes and go to class.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
was this freshman year?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that's the only time
That's
you get
the
away freshman
only.
year.
I walked in there, everyone looked at me, I looked back, and I was like, yep, let me just go to the back row and just pay
Sit.
attention and go from there. Florida A&M is also known as Fashion and Modeling University, so you cannot just walk the campus looking normal. They made sure you woke up, you got dressed, and you went to class. It was no, let me just throw on what I wore yesterday. Oh no, you wasn't walking around in basketball shorts and flip-flops.
You don't know what you was gonna see.
Unless you was a ball player. That's
Yes.
the only way that you can get away with it. If you was a ball player, then yes. But if not, the women walked around in the heels. You know, the guys,
Makeup, full face.
guys had the bow ties. Oh, dress what it was professional. For us, it was
With the-
professional Mondays.
We had
with the
Wednesdays,
suitcase,
but yeah.
it was straight suits, like everything. Like I missed those. That was literally the best 4 years of my life.
Briefcases and all.
Yes, like
Would you guys do it again? Would you,
Absolutely.
Would you go back?
Yes.
the same.
Yes.
For me, yes, I would do it again, but I would want to do it the same way with the same people. Because like that experience led me to who I am today. Like
And
it
build
was.
lifelong friendships that you keep in contact with now.
Yes.
No matter the distance, I still can call some of the same people I did. When
There's
I was
always a rattler wherever I go. No matter what city I attend or go to, I know I can call up on someone and they're going to be there.
Right. It's like that. It was that fraternity spirit or sorority experience without being in one at a HBCU that you get. So I definitely would do it all again. I remember my freshman year, spring semester. I had a brother. Well, I have a brother, and we got into it like real bad, and we ended up fighting. We fought every weekend of spring semester. So you're talking about 16 fights every Friday. We was out there fighting, and it was, and I wouldn't change it, you know, because it made me. Who I
just think by week 3, I would have said, "Let's do something different."
Let's stop this.
Clearly, it's not working. Hey, stop bringing that up.
Hey, I mean, it wasn't us, you know. When sometimes when conflict comes to you.
But y'all fought each other.
No, we didn't fight each other.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry. Let me clarify that. No, we didn't fight each other. No, we didn't fight each other.
You're fighting the others.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, that makes
sense. So let me clarify that up. We definitely didn't fight each other. We fought other people, and it was a great time. You know, I've seen somebody big get knocked out by somebody small. I've seen somebody get knocked on beaches. I've seen somebody.
This was all at UMES?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you about this one experience. So we had a basketball game versus insert college here, HBCU.
Oh, who was it? Now we want to know.
Delaware State.
Okay. That's another HBCU.
Yeah. So we were dancing. Well, I ain't gonna say we were dancing.
No,
the dancers,
you were dancing.
No, the dancers were dancing. Like the UMS Diamonds were dancing, and Dell State dancers came down. And I'm pretty sure y'all seen this on Instagram. The girl was dancing, and like she did something, and her wig came off. Ooh, that thing went viral. All you do is see me in the back.
Did attach correctly. Oh.
Like her other friends that was dancing with her just sat down, just let her go.
They do that little.
And they was like, ooh, nah, they didn't even do the roll down. They were just like, yeah, I don't know her. So
you had to make sure their sister was right. They didn't do the right thing.
What is it about HBCU auxiliary groups and fighting? I know FAMU, the Marching 100, they got in a couple of fights with the other bands too.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes you have to, when you have to show them like, this is greatness, you're not, sit down, and when you have an issue, Marching 100 had to show them. I get it.
Absolutely, like it was fun, man. But let's get into like a HBCU versus a PWI experience.
I was gonna say, so let's start this conversation off as I respect all of my brothers and sisters that attended a PWI because we need brothers and sisters to attend PWIs. You know what's best for you. You know what your journey has allowed. So go to your college, university, insert here, where you want to go. However, here you go with that but. I do think that there is a difference between an HBCU experience and a PWI experience.
Absolutely.
And I personally am not sold on we have a black student union, so I have that experience. Or, hey, we have the black version of our homecoming, so we have that experience. And it's nothing to take away from my PWI brothers and sisters, but I do think that there really is a difference. What do you guys think?
It's definitely a difference. My bad. Let me go back and shout out all of the universities in the room. You know, we also do have a Howard Bison, and we have a Jackson State Tiger. You know, so we do have them in the room as well. So, you know, shout out to all HBCUs. But there is a difference between an HBCU experience and a PWI.
So what's that difference, y'all? Let's talk.
Okay, go ahead, Shannon.
I'll say for me, going to grad school at a PWI versus going to 2 different HBCUs, it was a culture shock. It was a big culture shock. Like, honestly, you walked in and it was like, whoa, this is different. This is going to be an adjustment. As you said, just because you have a black student union does not mean you are at HBCU. And then honestly, what's so crazy is I met this black student at WashU actually recently, and she was like, you know, WashU is like a HBCU.
Absolutely not. Don't be disrespectful.
In my face, I was like, whoa.
That's very disrespectful.
But in her eyes, it was, she had that black student community through the undergrads that made her feel like that's what other people at HBCUs are getting.
Because they used to visit one all the time because one right down the street.
So,
I got you.
But for her,
you know.
But because she
shout out to
Harris-Stowe State University, yes. But for her, she just felt like that was her community, so she made her HBCU experience at WashU. But for me, that's where we have to get that bias out the way, that just because there's more than just community at an HBCU. There's history behind an HBCU.
You got your staff and your faculty that look like you, who will close the door and tell you, hey, you fucking up. and put their foot in your ass.
And it's not just held at one building.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that's the
all
other thing. It's not, we're going to have this event and we're going to have the black version of this event.
Right.
It's literally everywhere. I know for me, the biggest thing was when I went to FAMU and saw there were 11,000 other black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I immediately realized, okay, the only thing we have in common is our black skin.
Mm-hmm.
So negate that. From there, I really got a chance to meet all different types of black people. You're talking about, let's be real, people don't think there are black nerds, there are black skaters, geeks, you have people who grew up in, gamers, you have people who grew up in the quote unquote upper class, you have people who grew up lower class, working class, poor, rich,
but
everything.
I don't want to take that away from PWIs as well. Like, you do have some white people who have similar stories, but it's nothing like seeing it or hearing it from somebody who look like you. When you walk in a classroom and everybody look like you versus when you walk in a classroom and you the only black person and everybody look at you for the answers to speak for the black community.
Well, and I don't know for you all what high schools y'all went to, but for me, I went to a pretty diverse high school, but a lot of my life was, she's a smart black girl. And so going to the HBCU, you realize that you the normal person.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just you're not the black girl, you're not the smart black girl. You are.
That's what it was. You ain't shit.
I was Shannon.
I ain't shit.
It's
You
nothing
ain't
like
shit. We it's our school here, students. You my classmate, I'm your classmate. We gonna get
and
through
we
this.
want to succeed and we want to get through it
We
together.
gonna share this textbook.
When I went to FAM, I remember my freshman class, we had some of the most national merit scholars and all of those, and it's like, oh, so all y'all are like in the top 1% of your high school too? Wait, I'm not the special one anymore. But I love that. Like, to this day, I still tear up when I see graduations at HBCUs.
Yes.
Because I'm like, that's hundreds, if not thousands, depending on what the university is, but that's hundreds of young men and women that are graduating with not just BSs anymore, but we're talking masters, PhDs, all of that. And I'm like, wow, they're going into the world.
Absolutely.
Several steps ahead of the past generations.
And then the other thing I would say is, I don't know if you all will agree, but I think HBCU sometimes give people second chances. So you see those people who who graduated high school, and had that maybe 2.0 GPA. Honestly, I've heard of stories where people had lower than that. The HBCU gave them a chance.
And now they doctors.
Yes, when they're doctors, lawyers, all these different things. And not saying that the PWIs don't, but I think the PWIs sometimes take those quote unquote smart black students. And then the HBCUs make those smart black students.
Yes.
We make sense.
I like that. I like that way you put that.
And it goes back, I kind of want to jump back to David. He was talking about graduation. It's nothing like having one graduation versus having 6 or 7. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was at Texas State, we had a black graduation. Then we had the big graduation. Then you had your school graduation. Versus UMES, we just had one graduation.
Right.
Everybody graduated together. Everybody ain't stay for graduation.
Of course
My name was
not.
called.
Yeah.
I did my little show across the stage.
But don't worry out.
You know what I mean? Family get me out the door.
In your defense, Andre Webb, it was only like 2 letters left.
Yeah, I had to sit through everybody. Absolutely.
He made it sound like he was the first one going. He was the last one left. Like, hey, coach, put me in.
See, A&T, we did it by schools. We did a big graduation, but we did it by schools.
And y'all still in alphabetical order by that school, though?
No,
it was
not.
how you said.
Really?
Ours was
It was how you said. You had a name card, and then what you did was you whispered in the lady's ear, "This is how you say my name." And then
I remember that.
We had to write our names out phonetically.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we had to do that. Well, my name ain't hard to pronounce, so.
Mine's not even.
What, 5 letters first name, 4 letters in the last name? You can't mess that up.
I'm glad. You'd be surprised, but no. Usually, we have to give shout outs to those people who have to pronounce names today because they do real good.
Yes.
Quantavious Smith.
That's my child.
Let's talk about those. Let's talk about the parents at graduation. All your applause to the end.
Nobody's doing
every black family looking at each other like.
I don't even think they
That's
say
my
that.
baby.
They don't say that at HBCU.
They do.
Yes, they do.
They
do.
No.
They definitely did it at A&T.
I would say the president come on and be like, it's a joyous day. We want to make sure everything's good. And then hold all your applauses to the end.
First person walk through.
Everybody be like,
They talking about him.
or that person. Because when
The
my
signs,
baby
the face things, everything.
Did y'all have the family that had like the t-shirts?
Let me tell you, I got my daddy a t-shirt, and my daddy's t-shirt says, "My daughter is 2 degrees smarter with PhD loading on the back," and he still wears it to this day.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nothing like it. It's amazing.
But you know what? I think it's because it's a sense of accomplishment by the whole family. The whole family is like, this isn't just their graduation, this is our graduation too. We put in those years with you, so this is our celebration. So we're so happy and ecstatic for you. And let's be real, for a lot of African Americans, a lot of us these days are first generation college graduates. You know, some of us have our parents who went, most of us don't have grandparents who went.
Right. So let's kind of like switch it up a little bit. Let's talk about like the rules and the policies of HBCU. Because I know when I went to UMES, it was a visitation rule. You know, hey, no opposite sex after this time. Versus a PWI when I could have visitation and I lived on the same floor as a woman.
And see, when I went to FAM, there wasn't even visitation. It was like, you could go into the lobby, but women weren't allowed up into the men's dorms. Now y'all know.
People snuck in.
They snuck in. Like,
Through the side door?
these are what hoodies were made to sneak people in and out.
Absolutely. You couldn't live on the first floor.
Yeah.
Or if you lived on the first floor, you might have to slide your homeboy a couple. Hey bro, I'm trying to get a ring here, bro.
Yeah.
You know what though? I personally didn't like that rule, and I'm glad. I think FAMU has gotten rid of it. I think these are young men and women. Let them. I'd rather them do what they're going to do in a bedroom than what they were doing when I was there. Sneaking into dorm rooms, doing it outside. Like, you would walk campus, unfortunately, and see used condoms. Yeah.
I'll say at Xavier, we had dorm mothers. Like, Xavier is the only Catholic HBCU.
Didn't know that.
Yes. So for us, they had their policies in place. First of all, I went to college young. So until you were 18, you had to have parent permission to
like 12 years old, young?
No, not 12. I left at home at 16.
Hey man, you know sometimes it's a little baby.
Hey, I was, but you know, it is what it is. But for me, leaving at such a young age, when for my freshman year, I had to call my mama and tell her. I didn't always tell her what I was doing fully, but I would have to give her some idea of, hey, I'm going to this university, or I'm going hanging out with some folks tonight. Because if I didn't come in before curfew, they had to sign out, and they had to call my mom or my dad to get permission for me to leave because technically I was a minor. Xavier was very strict on that. Honestly, that was all the way out till it wasn't like freshman rules. That was the whole time you were there.
Makes sense as a Catholic university.
Yes. Yeah. So for us, we had to sign out. We had somebody always there. Whether you came in drunk, they still was gonna see. People at that point knew who you were.
Right.
So
what other rules and policies were there?
I'm trying to think.
We had to swipe in the class.
Nah, we ain't had to swipe in the class.
Yeah, we didn't. Our cars weren't working like that.
Yeah.
Attendance was, and if you could fail a class because you did not go to class based off attendance alone. You could have an A.
I think my favorite rule or policy was if you fail a class, you could retake it and then replace
the grade.
The grade, yeah.
I think that was my favorite one.
That's a good one.
But I know, I would say, I used it a couple times.
I think unwritten rules and policies, right? So we always say, if you get to know your professor, it's a good thing. But no, we're talking about get to know your professor.
Yeah, exactly.
Go sit in their office hours. Talk to them about everything but the class. And I've known people where we've gone over our professors' houses for dinner and stuff. It's like, really, that's how you develop that relationship. You gotta do
Whoa!
They was fucking.
You have an investigation on the FAMU professors. Okay.
They've all retired.
Title 9.
Title 9, yeah.
We ain't have Title 9 back then.
Oh yeah, y'all had like what, Title 1?
They were a little older than the rest of us. Okay.
Title 1.
So we were good. I don't know what y'all got.
It wasn't even called titles. It was
right.
He touched me. She touched me.
See how they do it.
They didn't have phones when David went to school. David had to go knock on doors.
Actually, I didn't get my first cell phone till my sophomore year.
I told you he went to school when it was.
And what was that?
No,
that
that was
phone?
spring 2000.
No, the
spring
flip phones?
2000.
Nah, it was the Nokia when they
The
put
big
No, it was just the one. Yeah, like the one, and we didn't really use it because who was I calling?
I don't know.
You couldn't use free calls until after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right,
So you had the phone that you had when you sent a text message, hit the button.
Exactly. I remember the first time I got I had a cell phone. I text someone, and it took me forever to text them, and then they like send it back. And I'm like, dang, how did you do that so quick? Clearly, they have one of those new phones. No, that's really good. So HBCUs, guys. Mm-hmm. Would you recommend it to the youth of today? Or
Absolutely.
Do you think that they run their course?
No, I don't think they ran their course. I think they're definitely needed. They provide a sense of who you are. What I mean by that is, like, when I went to school, I was still struggling with who I am. But when I got there, it was nothing like it. It was like, hey, you gonna be Drake. Because if you don't grow up, we gonna make you grow up. Mm-hmm. Hanging with the friends that you hung out with and everything else. It was like, hey, you're not gonna do this, or you are gonna do this, but you gonna be who you are. So I definitely think they are very much needed, especially like with the social life and the soft skills. Like, I've learned how to tie a tie. I've learned how to shake hands. I've learned how to eat professionally. I've learned all of that at an HBCU versus a PWI who would teach me how to read and write.
So how do you eat professionally?
It's professional etiquette.
No, I want to hear this.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. Everybody get professional etiquette. Leave me alone, David.
He said he learned how to eat professional.
Because some people you like eat different.
No, I'm about to say, because I went to etiquette class, but those was like for galas and.
But
that's the same thing at a working lunch. Yeah. I'm not gonna go there and order some fried chicken and like eat it like I'm at home.
A hamburger you don't get unless that's the only thing available. A salad where you can do fork and knife.
They tell you about if you're going to like a networking event, how not to pack your plate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How about if you go to career fairs, don't be the person walking around with bags and bags full of stuff.
Yeah.
You need to have your resume
print it out,
and then if you possibly
put it on cardstock
and do business cards. Especially when I was at Xavier, we did that before they now have like the virtual, all the electronic things.
Digital thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were things that were taught. And I don't know, for me, another thing that I tell the younger people, even though I know I'm young, but college is more than just the education. College is growing mentally, spiritually, growing in so many different aspects. So as Dre said, so he learned other skills. So yes, he got his degree. Yes, he was able to walk across the stage.
Business degree.
But at the
shout out to the business majors. Shout out to the business.
And shout out to the engineering majors.
Right, I'm like, what was that? Engineers rule the world.
Yes.
We love everybody, so shout out to the engineers.
But it's growing, and I think that when people look at college, it's like, well, I got my degree, and I have so many friends who are like, well, I got my degree. Well, what else did you learn beyond your degree? Like, did you build any bonds? Were you able to do anything else? And I think that's something that needs to get in people's heads, that like college is more than just education.
No, that's important. Can I throw out some facts, guys?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why I want to throw out these facts.
Okay, because I wanted to get into like your schooling versus ours. Well, your schooling, my schooling, and Shannon's schooling. Because you went to school when it was black and white.
Okay.
And I went to school.
It's still schooling.
I know.
Be it in black and white.
But it was different.
But no, let's go here. So HBCUs are responsible for, listen to this, guys. I have to pull out my phone because I want to make sure. So if you hold a degree in agriculture, they make 51.6%. 42.2% of all biologists, 35% of computer science, 43% of physical science, 23.2% of social science. But wait, there's more. 9 of the top 10 colleges that graduate most of the African American students who go on to earn PhDs are HBCUs. Majority of us are, more than 50% of all public school teachers and 70% of dentists, HBCUs. So there's a reason I bring that up. And there's many more facts. It shows that HBCUs are placing us into the careers that are out there. Because like just saying 70% of all dentists, that means there are dental schools across this nation, hundreds of them, but 70% of the black ones are coming from an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
So that's telling me that either A, it's quote unquote hard or impossible to get into these other schools, or they're just not trying to pick us to go into those schools. And you're getting the opportunity at an HBCU, and then you go on and further be the greatest dentist on earth. But same thing with the STEM careers, business, journalism, communicate. You name it, we're great at
It's
it.
the network.
Yes.
It's
But I also-
the network.
And I also think it's just built in us.
Mhm.
Like I think, just being black, we're just built different. So like we're built to sustain and withstand a lot of things,
Strong.
and we're built to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
So like shout out to all the kings and queens out there. It's amazing.
And literally there are kings and queens on each HBCU's campus.
Yes.
Mr. and Miss Florida A&M University. I'm sure there's a Mr. and
And
Miss
Miss-
UMES.
uh-huh.
Mr. and
No.
Miss.
Xavier and A&T.
The illustrious university.
No, I was
The
right the
illustrious
first time. There they
university.
Yeah, let them know. But yeah, no, I think we're just built different. And I definitely appreciate my HBCUs for giving me that opportunity.
Can we negate this one? This is another misnomer. I didn't go to an HBCU because the real world isn't all black, and I didn't want to go there and just be around all black people
fuck
knowing
that.
that the real world
Nah, fuck
is
that.
not like that.
Fuck that. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, it's at an HBCU, they teach you how to maneuver in so many different spaces, regardless. You know how to walk in a HBCU teaches you how to walk in a room and command respect.
I think, Shannon, I'm going to let you talk in a second. I was about to say you hit on it when you were saying the high school that you went to. I went to a similar high school where it's like 60% white, 40% black. So it's still a large number, but we weren't in the majority.
Well, you see, I think for me, I'm a little flip. So I think the black folks were the 60%
Okay.
and the white were the 40%, but it wasn't 90% black and then 10% other. I have Asian friends, I have white friends, from high school. So the majority of my friends are black, but it came full circle for me. But I will say, you made a comment about the real world not being at the HBCU. And honestly, I think my HBCU prepared me for the real world. Yes, if you can pick 4 years of your life to be around your people to learn things, why not take that opportunity?
Yeah.
So that was a big thing for me. And coming down to a PWI, I won't say I wouldn't have been able to make it if I hadn't gone to my HBCU, but I was able to experience more at my HBCUs, which then allowed me to prepare myself to come to a PWI to get my PhD, because I am one of the only black women in my department.
Let them know.
So
Literally the only, like one of the only ones. That's big. That's different. I think for our kids, I'm sorry, Dre hates when I say that. For our students, here we go. For our students in high school, maybe even middle school, any advice we can give them on how do you go about, because now let's be real. Just because I want to go to an HBCU doesn't mean they're going to contact me back or
Right. I think the biggest advice that I can give now is that a lot of these PWIs that they're starting to learn and want to catch up with is that they want to start doing holistic admissions. When HBCU's been doing that, I'm not gonna pick you just because of your grades. What can you tell me in this personal statement, or what can you tell me in this interview that makes you stand out? So PWIs are starting to jump on that train. So my advice to anybody who is looking to attend college, just in general, the work starts 7th grade, 8th grade. Everybody thinks it starts in high school. Nah, it really starts before then, because you have to be active. You have to be involved. If you're not involved, you're not going to get the best out of it. So my advice is get involved, whether that's sports, whether that's community service, whether that's clubs, anything. Just get involved, but be who you are at all times.
Real quick, before we wrap up, guys, I think we would do a disservice. So I'm going to give us 3 a minute. And let's shout out as many HBCUs as we can, because I know our listeners are listening and they want to hear their school come out of our mouths.
Oh, geez.
So if we don't say your school name, basically we're... Oh, okay, that. I was going to say it's not important. But here we go. So first and foremost, Florida A&M University. Got it out. Hey!
Xavier University, Louisiana.
The University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
State.
Tennessee State.
Spelman College.
Howard.
Morehouse College.
Oh, Wilberforce.
Clark Atlanta.
Oh, Morris Brown.
Shaw University.
Jackson State.
Oh, Alabama A&M.
Morgan State.
Harrisville State University.
Oh, Lincoln.
Lincoln, Pennsylvania.
There you go. Delaware State.
Del State. Shout out to Del State.
Savannah State. I used to live there. Central Ohio. Central State.
Yeah.
Central North Carolina. Shaw University. You have Howard. You got
right. Get all the illustrious like Hampton. Right. The other HU. Get them out.
Hampton. Yeah, it's so many.
It's
Grambling.
Grambling.
It's Southern. Oh yeah. Can't forget
PV.
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Oh yeah, I would say yeah.
There's over. They said there's like 106
Did we say
HBCUs.
Harrisville?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Lincoln.
Alabama State, right?
And
A&M.
Albany.
You have
Albany.
You got Huston
Tuskegee.
Tillotson.
Okay, I'll say this one. I don't want to say it, but if I don't say it, then my LB is gonna kill me. Bethune-Cookman College University.
We do got Bethune.
BCC.
Langston.
Yep, Langston.
Langston's a good one.
There's so many.
So if we didn't say your school, basically they're saying that it wasn't important enough. I'm just saying that we
No,
forgot.
that's not. I
saying that we
apologize.
forgot,
No, that's,
FAMU feels like it's not important.
you know,
Y'all see where the FAMU
the
is.
lowest of the 7 hills.
Oh, highest. Don't do that because when they in your DMs, these rattlers are worse than Queen Bee fans. Just throwing it out there too. So Shannon, I want to thank you today for coming on, giving us your experience at HBCUs, at an HBCU, at both schools. And I think really helping our listeners out there understand, why we made these decisions, why it's such a big motivating factor on who we are today.
Absolutely.
Right?
It was great to have you on this side of the camera.
Thank you.
You think you want to stay for our DM slide?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's get to it. Here we go, guys. So we're going right into our DM slide. You guys know what the DM slide is. It's all about you come in, you slide in our DMs, you give us a topic, you give us a question, you give us something you want us to talk about. It doesn't have to do with anything from our last episode. And today's question comes from Instagram. And the user is M_and_M_8, MNM8. That's your name. So the question is, gender roles. How are they affecting society and the American dream? Ooh, that's deep.
Shannon.
No, we can't go to the guest first.
No.
Right?
So, how is gender roles affecting society and the American dream? I think those are two questions. I think gender roles definitely affect society. You got to look at it just like they're not called baby showers. What are they called? The revealing.
Gender reveal?
Gender reveals. Like, think about it back from there. Like, once you know what gender your baby is, you already are preparing them for that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But what if your baby wants to come out and be totally different? So I think they definitely do affect the way we think, the way we move, the way we operate. I'm in the American dream. I think the American dream is trash. There is no such thing as 2 kids, a white picket fence, and a dog. No, not in the society that we live in now. Especially not in the America we live in now. I think that dream is long gone. I think that's more of David's era.
It is, and I think it still takes place, but it's not. I don't think that's the American dream. The American dream isn't the 2 kids and a picket fence.
That's the only American dream that I've heard of.
So no, the
I
American.
think it's changed now.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
No,
I do agree that I think it changed, but I'm just talking about the only.
No. That's a vision. No, the American dream has always been about how do you make it? How do you make it big based off of whatever circumstances you were born into in life? So it used to be no matter what you were born, rich, poor, whatever, you too can be rich if you just strap yourself up by the boots and everything. So that's the American dream. I think when you talk about gender roles and how they're affecting society, I think America is slowly growing with the times, right? So we were a very paternal, patriarchal society. Man does everything. And over the course of years, we have seen more and more women are now starting to go to college. They surpassed men when you're talking about college. Now women are going to work. So you no longer have that role of the man just doing everything because women are like, hey, turns out I can do it too. Mm-hmm. The question is I think going back to what you were saying with American Dream, let's say that you still want that family atmosphere. Can you have the traditional gender roles if you have a man that, I think this is what the question is probably getting to. Can a man be a stay-at-home dad and the woman goes to work?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. I want to be a stay-at-home.
I would die. Look, give me my mimosa every day.
But hold up. But you
Fuck
need to stay
that.
okay, wait.
Stay at home, and I can play the Xbox.
Right, because don't think the kid gonna be like the smartest thing on earth.
No. To me,
Xbox.
that's where the issue comes into play. You would need to be doing things at the house.
That's cool. I keep it clean.
Be
I
a
do all that.
baby.
But at the
Put
same
him in the
time,
crate.
I'm gonna be that dad
I ain't
that
washing
take the kid
clothes
that's
every day.
That you ever seen like Mission
Put 'em
Impossible?
under the
Be
thing, right.
Be hanging them down and make them grab stuff and hang them up like.
But
like
to me,
Mission
the
Impossible.
same way that these gender roles were when women would be at home.
Y'all
and
did
then
too much.
men-
No one told y'all to do all that.
Yeah, cook, clean. Hey man,
To me though, no
That's what I-
woman should be working all day and then coming home to a dirty house. If you're at the house all day.
Well, I agree. We gonna meal prep on Sunday, so we got dinner all week.
Oh no.
So cooking done.
One time.
Washing once a week, so washing done.
Or if you leave it up to me, we gonna eat out every night.
That's right. So now I can play my PS5 or my Xbox Series X all day.
Exactly.
Hey, honey, you know where the dinner
And
is.
stream it and get paid for it.
How about that?
You feel me?
Wow,
Yeah.
this is actually really crazy.
What they say? Come home. I need a hot meal on the table. It's in the microwave.
It really is.
That is trifling, honestly. That is trifling.
What you think I'm about
Did
to
you,
do?
did you pick up food
Break a
DoorDash
sweat?
at the door?
Right.
You ain't grab it on the way in. You know they don't do. You know it's contactless.
Work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
Wow, you see, no.
Yeah.
No. Because if I...
So we're all in agreement? Yep.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
This, the four of y'all might be, but no. I just feel like at the end of the day, if I'm working,
You come home to what?
a hot meal on the table,
No,
the
you
same
don't
thing
come
that
home.
as a man you would have expected if I
It's
was
gonna
at
be-
the
it's
house.
gonna-
You
No,
coming
it's
home
gonna be
to
hot.
Amazon boxes.
I'm saying it's
I've
gonna
been
be hot.
buying stuff all day long.
I'm saying-
Why you buying stuff you don't
Because you're working.
You
You're
know what I'm saying?
working.
Oh, it's gonna
We
be-
working.
We working.
The food
In
will be
love.
hot. Don't get me wrong. The food will be hot.
The food will be hot from the microwave that you heated up from 3 days ago.
He can get an air
Baby.
fryer.
But
You can
it's-
use your air fryer.
Absolutely.
There you
I got
go.
the Ninja air fryer.
There
Shout
you
out
go.
to the ninjas.
So there you go.
But it will be hot because DoorDash is 2 minutes behind you.
There you go. As
But
soon
my
as you-
thing is, so what are you doing all day in the house?
Streaming and sleeping and baby care.
It's called lazy. Being
So-
lazy.
It's baby care.
But no, so it sounds like with gender roles, we're joking around, we're playing,
Yeah,
but
no.
basically with gender roles, we're basically saying if men have to stay at home, we're probably going to do a better job than women did.
Oh,
when they
wait
stayed
a minute.
at
That's
home.
a real big generalization right there.
That's what the conversation sounded like, right?
Hey.
Dre,
don't
hold on,
put
wait
me-
one
Don't put me in that foolishness.
But half the
Don't
story.
put me in that
Whoa.
foolishness.
But no, I think the biggest thing
Clown every
about
episode. No, not this one.
the biggest thing about gender roles are as the society continues to grow and continues to change, we have to grow with that.
Absolutely.
If you are locked into your old ways or the ways of the past, you might get left behind like the dinosaurs.
And no, you might, you will.
Well, you will.
No,
And I think
might,
another
because
thing-
71 million people still voted for Trump.
Yeah.
So they still living by traditional gender
I
roles.
digress on that, but
Yeah.
but
One
in
time for
terms,
President-elect Joe Biden.
but I will say though, like in terms of roles and responsibilities, they're gonna continuously change. So as we say, okay, if a man is staying home, his roles will be different and responsibilities will be different than the woman's, depending on how they decide in their relationship. But then if things change and the man has to go to work and the woman has, it'll continuously change. And if you don't build your relationship to understand that those roles will continuously change, and when they change, a conversation needs to be had, then it will never work at the end of the day.
I agree. However, hire me, I'll be a stay-at-home dad any day.
Well, it's not a job to be hired.
Because that's your kid.
You gotta get
That's-
married into
I understand, but hire me. Okay.
or find him. So,
DM, I'm okay.
Hire
Shannon, we want to thank you for coming on this side of the camera with us today, or on this side of the podcast. I think it was a very good conversation. Guys, as always, slide into our DMs if you liked or didn't like what we talked about today.
Absolutely, and make sure you follow us at That Perspective Podcast, and that's the THE That Perspective Podcast. Also, you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify for our podcasts, and we also have Google Forms up. Just go to our Instagram page, hit the link tree, and there is a form. We are looking for your feedback. We definitely encourage it. You know, that's the only way to make us better, and we look forward to hearing from you. You know, and possibly we may even be able to get you on the show. You never know. You know, we're taking off, and this thing is we're rolling.
No, guys, thank you so much. As always, I'm David,
And I'm Dre.
and this is the Perspective Podcast.